Okay, I'm going to show you how to create SSH keys and then how to transfer them over to a remote machine so you can access that machine more easily and more securely. So if we take a look in this home folder, we've got the SSH directory, and in there I've got these two things already. Authorized keys contains keys authorized to access this server. So, you know, my other machines that can access this server, they've got their keys in there, they're public keys. And known hosts is just the machines that I've connected to and their fingerprints. So what we want to do is we want to create our own SSH key, and it's really easy. Just use the ssh-keygen command. It's going to say generating a public-private key pair. This might be quicker. This is a Raspberry Pi, so it might be quicker on your machine. It's going to say where do you want to save that, and this is the default key name because it's an RSA key. So we can just hit enter just to save that as the default, and you can choose to add a passphrase here to make it more secure. Bear in mind, if you're trying to skip the password phase of logging into your server, then you're just adding another password phrase here. So you can just hit enter to skip that as well, and then it gives you this. It says it's been created, and it gives you this just to confirm that it's been created, and you don't need to keep this. So what we can do is now that we have that that key and the public key in the SSH folder in our home directory, we would have to then transfer that over to a machine that we wanted to SSH into via public key, and we could do that in a few different steps. So we could log in via SSH, and then we could copy. Well, first of all, we need to cat the ID RSA pub. So sorry, SSH ID RSA .pub, and you can see this is the key there, the public key. You wouldn't want to show people your secret key, because then they would be able to also SSH into anything that had that public key in its authorized keys file. So what we can do, instead of doing all those different steps, we can just do this in a kind of one line thing here. So we want to start with this cat, and then we want to pipe that straight into the SSH command. So I'm going to use another Raspberry Pi I've got set up already, and that's on .8. And after SSHing in, we want to execute some commands. So we want to make a directory with the key tag, which just means we'll make it and all of its parent directories if we need to. But we also want to create the authorized keys file. Now again, touch will create it if it doesn't already exist. So we want to specify that location as well, authorized keys, and we also want to change the permissions on that folder there. So we can chmod, want to set the permissions just for the owner, just for the user, and that is the whole SSH folder. And we also want to where are we? And we also want to cat into that same authorized keys file, and then that should be good. So if we hit enter, we get asked for the password. If I haven't made any spelling mistakes, I did. So what we can do is, if I press Control X and Control E, then it opens the command in an editor, and we can delete that, and we can say like that. Okay, and the rest of that looks okay. Right. So so we can save and exit that, and we ask for a password, and that's done. And now if we just SSH into this server, we should get straight in, and we do. So that I probably should have shown you before, but there was no SSH folder before, and now we have the SSH folder with the authorized keys file, and in the authorized keys file we have the same key that I showed you before, and it will just put each key on a different line. That command, if we exit this, this command here just adds the key on a different line in that file. So the original key that we had here is piped into this whole command here, and then finally cat out at the end into this authorized keys file. So that is a really nice quick way that you can create and transfer SSH keys, make things easier, like using SCP. One last thing it might be interesting to talk about or to mention is that you could just shove that all into a little bash script. So we could call that transfer keys. We don't really need an extension, but we can give it an sh extension just to be clear. So we're now editing that file, and we can first of all give it the bash shebang. And what do we want to do? So we want to probably take a command line argument. So the host equals, and then it can just be the first command line argument. So that's 1. And then we want to just repeat that command. If you've got that command saved somewhere, so then you can just copy it in here, and then we want to just change this. Okay, so we want to just remove this part here, and we just want to add in the variable here, host, like that. Okay, so then that should just execute that same command with the host here that we give it. So let's save that. Let's mark it as executable, so we can do that with +X, and we can try that command. So transfer keys, and then we want to go pi at remove, and then I can exit and save that. Okay, now so when I go out of here, if I try and go back in, it's going to ask me for the password because we haven't got a thing on there anymore. So let's try that transfer keys script one more time. I'll clear the screen so you can see how easy this is. So we do that. It's going to ask us for the password. Okay, but now when we SSH in, we can get straight in. Okay, so the script there, that we can let's have a quick look at that again. This little script here with the argument of the host will just get us straight in there.